Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm gonna start this off with saying I love you. I love all of you. I love the people that, even though not in my life, are in my life, if that makes sense. Like everyone that I see on Facebook, regardless if we talk every day, regardless if we've ever talked, or I love you, and I don't want anything bad to happen to you, and hope your family's well. I mean, I want people to live, love, laugh, just like my tattoo says. Find their happiness, find their love, find their laughter every day. And that's what I want everyone that I come across. That's what I want their life to be, because I want that in my own life. Majority, or pretty much all of you should know, my basic, backstory. If not, check me out on my YouTube videos, and I do blogs about my life and Dallas's life especially. And don't go to my Twitter or my Pornhub. Just kidding about one of them. But seriously, majority of all of you should pretty much know, some of my life. And especially since Facebook, the last, 13 years I've been here. This whole entire time, everyone knows. Well, okay, I'll stop saying that. It's getting repetitive. But I was a dialysis patient for 12 years. I woke up one day sick as hell, but I'm a stubborn fucking Irish prick. Waited. Finally, my boy Sean Bullen came over, and I watched the kids go to the hospital. And he watched my son and daughter, and their mother and I went to the hospital and got admitted, seeing doctors. A day later, my kids and her mother are at the hospital visiting, make sure I'm okay. Doctor comes in, never seen this gentleman before. He's like, Mr. Bishop, and I immediately knew, oh shit. Hey Janice, hey Jalen, here, go down, get some, vending machine shit. Doctor looked at me and said, Mr. Bishop, you either need to start dialysis or your health is going to get worse, and we're sorry to tell you, but you'll die. I didn't know what any of that meant. I just heard the word die, and I didn't care about nothing else, and I really wasn't down for that. So I immediately said yes, and the next day I had surgery. 10 plus years. I had 10 more surgeries and spent 2 years in the hospital, and I lost my job. I lost my house. I lost my wife. I was sick to the point where I almost basically lost my kids and sleeping on concrete pillow. But, I overcame it, and I did the 11 and a half years on dialysis, and got to the point to where my life was going good again, and I met a great young lady. I'd moved to St. Louis, and then one morning I got sick, not from Missouri. I texted her and told her, I don't. So she told me the numbers to call the St. Louis hospital, and call them. Came, picked me up, and next thing you know, I'm in ICU, and that emergency so bad, I about lost my arm. It was scary. It was humbling to have that even thought in my head. Right about that time, COVID started. I still came back to Ohio every 2 weeks, kept my apartment, so I could keep my kid. COVID came, Missouri got shut down, everyone got shut down. Me and said girlfriend obviously ended up splitting up. Still a good friend. Well, I guess, we don't talk, but anyway. And once again, I was alone. I had nothing. Still doing dialysis. 6 months later, I'm dating someone, and we're talking about the same thing, us getting married and shit like that. And guess what? got sick again. I'm back in the hospital again. ICU again. MRSA again. This time so bad from a surgery I just had. I about lost my left leg. I still have them. Still functional. While I'm in the hospital, said girlfriend decides that this isn't working for her and left. Never seen her again. 2 years ago now. It was at this time that I didn't have anything in my life. I was never in my life ever so low, except for one time that we're not mentioning this. 2 times, but still, you understand the rest of the conversation, the rest of how I was feeling emotionally, physically, psychologically, and everything. So, as I'm in the hospital and finally recuperating and just getting broke up with, and I saw my doctor, and I'm like, I'm not doing this no more. I don't have anything left. Not only do I have no surgery access left because I'm a fucking walking fuck up, I don't want to live no more. My kids don't need me. My daughter has her real dad. I'm just that extra guy if you ask your mom or anyone now. My son didn't need me. He has a awesome, amazing girlfriend and her family, and well, by God, see, he still got his stepdad, if you want to call him that, whatever to call him, I don't know. I'm not needed no more. So I said, I'm done. The doctor looked at me and was like, Nate, you realize what this means? Like, I accept, fate. I'll die. It's cool. That was 2.5 years ago. My doctor informed me that I wouldn't make it 2 months. It was 2.5 years ago. 3 months ago when I got really sick. Guess what? Did you guess that I was in the hospital and in ICU? By God, you must have heard this story before. Nate, you're dying. And you're not on dialysis. We can't. Okay. And then one day, I had to go get blood work from my doctor. And the phlebotomist was in there. And she asked me, about my doctor. Good conversations, She's like, I'm like, yeah, dialysis, blah, blah. She's like, oh, I was on peritoneal dialysis for blah, blah, until I got a transplant. I'm like, oh, wow, congrats. She's like, how long did you wait for a transplant? I'm like, oh, no, I waited 12 years, but I wasn't allowed to have one, so I'm just going to die. And she's like, man, that's horrible. She's like, yeah. And she was telling me more about her peritoneal dialysis, and I'm like, yeah, I always had hemodialysis. That's why I have all these scars and look like fucking Frankenstein. And I freak people out when they look at me. She's like, no, Nate. She's like, oh, I know you. I'm like, yeah, well, you know me, so I'm a fucking weirdo, but that's my coolness, right? So we're laughing. This whole time I've known her. Never knew she was a dialysis patient before. So I started thinking, man, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I'm already dead inside. But I don't want to die and not be here. That makes sense to me. I don't care if it does to you. Well, I agreed to meet with the surgeon. He met with the surgeon, and he met with my doctors, and then 3 days later I had another surgery, which probably will be my last unless this one goes bad too. Now it'll be number 305 or some shit. So now I have to do home dialysis every day, multiple times. I live with people. But in all honesty, I want to be alone. So I can make my own decision. Because I can't walk around that always so sick and then see the looks on people's faces like, oh wow, is he dying in front of me type thing. At least if I lived by myself again, no one would know. I don't want to die. But I think